Alright, so we just talked about Evo Japan. Now let's talk about Evo. Evo lineup, Yomi. It's December. Usually the announcement's made around February, right? But, you know, there's only one really big release coming out between now and August next year. For that reason, I think it's kind of safe to really start the discussion, even though it seems a little bit early. There's only really one question, you know? You got 10 games out. You only got 8 or 9 spots. Which one is going to be the one that gets out? And to be honest with you, I have no idea this time, dude. I honestly don't know. I want to see what y'all think, though. So right off the bat, let's get the locks out the way. Smash, you already know what it is. MK, you know what time. T7, no doubt. SF5, I think those are obvious, right? Everybody kind of agrees with those. So the problem is Grand Blue Versus comes out in February. That's got to be in there. That's got to be in there because it's a new release. Arc System Works title, and obviously, you know, Psy Games is involved. They were an Evo sponsor a couple years ago. It just makes sense. They sponsor a fighting game team, right? You know their game is going to be in there. Problem is, that means there's 10 titles. Which one's the odd man out? These 4, I think, are obviously, you know, no contest, right? These are locks, I would think. The next ones, and this is where it starts to get a little bit, the crystal ball becomes a little bit hazy, right? GB Versus, you know what's in there. Question is, what's going to lose its spot? Under Night, DBFZ, these 2 games to me are what at the start of where it starts to get hazy, right? So you got 5 games locked, 3 to 4 spots, right? To me, Under Night in Birth, because they put that game in there last year, it has no tour, it has no official developer support in that regard, right? But the community stands up really tall for it. In particular, the Western community. And man, that's fucking wild. That's crazy when the Western community is propping the game up. Again, Evo last year, hell, Combo Breaker last year, Ben's Tournament, Climax of Night. All of those entrants posted higher numbers than any of the JP events for this game. That's fucking crazy. And to be honest with you, new version coming out early next year, right? It's still in prime position. I think it's still doing really well. I think it earned its spot back. Hell, even last year's Evo numbers, or this year's Evo numbers, mad close to DBFZ. And DBFZ is another one that I'm kind of looking at and I'm like, it still does really well in terms of impressions and like peak viewership and coverage, right? ESPN, they can't stop talking about it at Evo. Go, you just saw it, go, right? They just, like, they can't stop it. My big question is, what are they going to talk about? What are they going to announce after that World Tour final? Because this game, let's be real, gameplay, pretty stale. Sonic Fox Goichi pretty much been carried that game the first few months. Huge drop off from year 1 to year 2, 50%, almost like as much as Street Fighter V year 1 to year 2. I feel like they got to really show you something. They got to show you what they're willing to do a year 3 of the tour, and they have to have content for the game. They have to do something really drastic, I think, to get people to be looking at the game again, or to get people back into it. I'm talking like new version, like new disc almost, you know, like Super DBFZ, DBFZ 2, that kind of thing. It's been fun to watch for right now. I'm not sure how we'll feel about it in 6-7 months. If the content looks good and if they show me that they're willing to do another tour like that, I think it still has a favorable chance of getting back for a 3rd year. I'm more confident in these 2 than I am these 2, though. And this... Soulcalibur 6, I think when they just announced that a new tour for the game, they didn't have a tour for the initial release year. They waited a year. Seems like they made a lot of favorable changes to the game that a lot of the community seems to like. And right off the bat, so here's the big thing. Soulcalibur 6 tour, they announced the details right away. They gave you pretty good transparency on what the tour rulings are and how the tour format is going to work. That automatically makes it higher value tour than some other tours. Right off the bat. I think that Calibur 6 actually, despite performing similarly in terms of numbers and entry registrants to BlazBlue Tag, to Sam's Show, its tour being inherently higher value, I think gives it a little bit of a bump over those actually. BB Tag just got a new season update too, right? Seems to be doing really well. In fact, Evo Japan, I was really surprised with the numbers. 544 for that game in Evo Japan. That game traditionally does not do well here. I'm not sure how people will feel about it in like 6-7 months. It seems like most people were pretty big fans of the gameplay balance changes that they made in Season 2. But we have to see how it does, especially after Grand Blue Versus releases. Obviously, Arc World Tour is going to be running Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle together. That's the 2 games that they're running. I think that gives it a chance, but to be honest with you, with the way Arc World Tour is, it doesn't feel like it gives it that much of a push as opposed to some of these other games, I think. And the interesting thing about all 3 of these games, actually, BB Tag, Sam's Show, and Soulcalibur, is if you look at the analytics for Evo, all three of them post really, really good results for crossover players, right? They have their unique base in terms of people that go to the tournament just for that game, but then a lot of their players actually play other stuff, right? Soulcalibur had higher crossover with Tekken and Smash, if I'm not mistaken. BB Tag had a high crossover with a few other games, including DBFZ. Sam Show had the highest of crossover, right? Not sure how much that changes going into year 2. Are we looking at a potential DBFZ SF5 kind of effect where year 1 to year 2, there's a huge, massive drop-off? For Sam Show, I think it could be kind of the case. The good thing is the way the game is built and the way the game plays, anybody can pick it up and play it within 5-10 minutes of practice, right? So that kind of works to its advantage. It just does not seem like a lot of people are riding for this game, and if anything, SNK World Championships, the way that tour is designed, I think does nothing but kind of hurt competitive value for it. It's weird to say, but to me, my picks, I feel like these 4 locks on the left. You got to have Grand Blue in there. That makes 5. I'm thinking they go DBFZ, Under Night, Soulcalibur, and then flip a coin for Sam Show or BB Tag. I feel like these two, it's got to be one of these two that are the odd man out. It might be Caliber, but it's for sure got to be one of these 4 or 5. I'm not and to be honest with you, I have no idea, man. I really want to hear what y'all think. Which game do you think is out for Grand Blue Versus? There's only one new game coming out before Evo, and it's Grand Blue. So they're in. Who's out, though? Let me know what you think in the comments below.